Hey guys, I'm Si. Welcome to A.C.E Podcast Nation, the home of me, myself, and Si. This is episode number 15, the end of series 1, the end of the series, maybe the end of an era, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. The show is live, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, as always. And as you well know by now, A.C.E Podcast Nation, of course, you're home to many great shows and series featuring top guests, expert analysts, and more. So do give us a follow on social media, subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the bell for notifications. Helps us out a lot, helps us with the YouTube and the Google algorithms and search engines. And of course, if you prefer your podcasts in audio form, then you can find all of the content produced by A.C.E Podcast Nation at the Sports Social Podcast Network, the UK's first dedicated sports podcast network. And literally type in Danny Batten Fight Show, own little website, 3 series or 2 series, whatever it is, of hundreds of episodes, hundreds of guests. Then you can go Rodri Gigs on football. There we go. Loads of shows. Andy Campbell football show, all there. Andy Campbell championship show, all there. My story, 3 series of just guest after guest after guest, journeys, stories, people from all walks of life. Welcome to everyone. If you don't know what this show is, this is the one-man show. It's like a question and answer, an interactive thing. It's a one-man podcast, not as long as the usual shows. It's the last one of the year on a Monday at least, and I'm not sure if this series is coming back, at least in this form. I don't think it is, but we'll get to that. So obviously this show very dependent on you guys sending questions, asking for my opinion on certain things, whatever it may be. But just as we wait for a few of the late comers, as it were, the stragglers, there was no Super 6 this week. So obviously with most of the games being postponed, the last Super 6 round was cancelled. So there was no change to the league standings. But with 92 players in the league, we've raised a total of £816 for Maggies Centre and Mind. They will receive £408 each. That means there's a £552 worth of prize money being split between the top 6 players come the end of the season. We're going to close the league to new entrants now and make the charity donations on the 10th of January. So there's a little bit of time to get in touch and give all the details and stuff. But next round is 3 p.m. Boxing Day. So Merry Christmas indeed. Get involved, get your predictions done, and all that good stuff. We so a little scheduling note. The Rodri Gigs on football now on a Thursday for anyone who missed Friday. It's now on a Thursday forever and ever and ever. 7:30. Just suits mine and Rodri's schedule a little bit better. So that's going to be that. But it also works out nicely over Christmas because we can keep that one going through the festive period. So this Thursday, me and Rodri will be live, 7:30. We'll do kind of like a little review of the year, look at the latest news, look forward to the Christmas program and stuff like that. And then the next Thursday, in between Christmas and New Year, obviously there'll be lots of games and news to talk about. And then after that, we've obviously got the January window opening, among other things. So there's always plenty just going on in the football world. Got some incredible shows and interviews, some already recorded, some lined up for January. It's going to be good in the studio. It's going to be interesting. And of course, the A.C.E Podcast Nation members only Patreon launches on the 2nd of January. So be sure to look out for that. I might well kind of open it up from, I don't know, over Christmas next week sometime, but there won't be, I don't think, there won't be any new content dropping until like the first week of January on there, but might be, if I do open it, there'll be some things uploaded which have never been seen before. Never been seen. It'll be lots of exclusive content. Obviously, if you want to support the channel and the various shows, that's the way to do it for the price of a coffee per month, basically from Starbucks or something like that. You get loads of rewards, loads of free content. That is going to be vital to the channel's growth, to the channel, always improving, getting bigger, things like that. It's a way for you guys to support us that extra bit, which is obviously we're very, very grateful for. If you can stretch to a few £1 a month, then of course we welcome that massively. And like I said, you'll get an exclusive, at least one exclusive show per week, probably one a week every week, and then there'll also be a couple scattered in through the month. Plus you'll have some behind the scenes stuff, some vlogs, all different sorts of stuff, which will never, all the stuff that'll be on that will never get released to the general public, shall we say. Another thing you'll get by being a member is when we do the live show next year, which we will be doing, which will obviously have the likes of Kev McNaughton, Roderick Giggs, Andy Campbell, hopefully, all the people who've been hosts on the show, some of the cricket guys, the fighters, all this sort of stuff. Those guys will be there. Plus, we'll have some special guests and things like that. So when those tickets go on sale, I would imagine they're going to go quite quick. So if you're a Patreon member, you'll get first dibs on those as well if you want them. And just stuff like that, discount on merch, all these different things, benefits that are only be available to you guys. And of course, you're helping us out, helping us to improve and all that good stuff. So, welcome. I can see a lot of the regular peeps in the chat. Rob, Will, Matthew, James. Matthew says, sign me up. I appreciate that, mate. And look, it's not something, when I first started this, it's not something that I wanted to do. Because obviously when I first started this, it was just something like to do to my mental health and blah, 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 blah. We all know that story. But it's kind of grown beyond that. And it takes up a lot of time. It's taken a lot of money and stuff on equipment. Garrett Cole's put an angry face in on the like page, so I don't know if he's not happy. I apologize, Garrett, if you're not happy. But you only have to, if you did listen to Andy in the last show that he did, like he wanted to carry on doing the podcast, but there's no way he could do his full-time job, the Middlesbrough job, and the amount of time and effort that it takes to do a podcast. Like Andy was a co-host, and I had no disrespect, by the way. Andy used to sort out 99% of the guests on the football shows, but Andy was like a co-host doing one show or two shows a week. I do 4 or 5 shows a week, plus record other stuff on my own. I edit everything myself. Generally, I get 10 Media and James to do some of the clips, but it's just difficult. It takes time, it costs money. And, it costs money per month just to produce audio content. Like it's a never ending thing. But anyway, I don't want to moan about that. Brad says, are you a Lanishan boy, Si? I am not from Lanishan originally. I'm from Rada. I am Cardiff born, Cardiff bred, but I don't live far from Lanishan now. But yeah, I know lots of Lanishan peeps, as it were. A lot of my closest friends are from this area. But yes, so let's have a look what's happened. Matthew Angel says it hasn't happened, so let's pretend it's a secret. I think I only had 2 or 3 people who wanted in and had addresses. Oh, the Secret Santa, I see. Right, okay. I think it's probably a bit late now, isn't it? So Reese's mum's here. Reese, welcome, one and all. I liked it. And James says, when he dies, he'll be Cardiff dead. Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. It's Gavin says, sorry, I was peeling a tangerine and my finger pressed by mistake. It's all right, mate. I know, because every time I see that angry face, because I have this like little thing on my screen, and it just says like thumbs up, hearts, angry face, whatever, and then it's got like it'll say the number. But every time there's an angry face, I always know it's you, Gavin, for some reason. You've got a habit of pressing it by accident. Maybe you're like passively angry with me for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, look, like I said, like the Patreon thing and that is kind of not something which I was planning to go down that route. And I don't want to be asking like you guys for money and stuff like that. So, but I also have got to a point now where if I'm going to keep doing this, I've got to be able to it's got to be able to fund itself, as it were. And that's a way to do it. And then you get, but also like the people who sign up to that, you get something out of it. Like you get content which no other people are getting. You get discount on merchandise, and you get first thing on tickets. You might even get discount tickets as well. So There's going to be loads of different exclusive stuff on that. So, like I said, that's going to be live from next week, maybe. I don't know, but it'll be up basically from the 1st of, what did I say, 2nd of January. It'll be there. Like it's set up. I've set it up ages ago. I haven't done it because I didn't want to go down that route of kind of going, yes, guys, can you sign up to this? Blah, 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 blah. And look, when you see it, you'll notice I think it's three tiers. There's like a £3 or a £4 tier, I'm off the top of my head. And then there's like a £5 or a £6 tier. There's like 3, and then there's a higher tier, which is like £10 a month. And like the £10 tier is more of like a tongue-in-cheek tier. I don't expect anybody to do that. However, what you do get with that is you get to do a podcast every month with myself, talking about a subject of your choice. So I thought that was quite a funky, like a little, no, I don't want to say a joke tier, because a novelty tier, I think, is probably a better description, just to sort of, I don't expect anyone to do it, but we can do it if we want, as it were. So let's get in and talk some stuff. Kay Child says, I'll sign up. It's like the price of a pint. You cannot go wrong. I appreciate that, mate. Really appreciate that. Main man Leslie Coates is in the house. That's all that matters. It's ultimately, I can die a happy man now because Leslie is here. I was getting worried, starting to stress. I was thinking, Christmas is going to be ruined, but he's here. So, hallelujah. Evening, Leslie. How are you, mate? Craig Sullivan says £10 is like the OnlyFans tier. Yeah, just like all topless photos of me doing like a, like the Travellers call out and the fights on YouTube. That's all the £10 tier is. It's just me doing that with no top on. Leslie just says, I missed all that, what you said. Only just realised you was on. So, Leslie, do I need to repeat everything that we just talked about for the last 12 minutes because you were late? Is that what you're telling me? Well, you'll have to go back and watch it because I don't want to put the people through that. So yeah, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I do love doing this. It's fantastic. I love it. However, it's also got to the point where the amount of time it takes, and it takes the evenings away from the family and all that sort of stuff. So it's got to start funding itself a little bit, as it were. So yes, indeed, there we go. That's that. If you've got any questions about like that stuff, please do ask questions, because it's something which I'm going to talk about like regularly. It's something which I'm going to, I am going to be sort of mentioning it as the shows go by, and I'm going to be saying, please try, because we want to get as many people to sign up as possible at the end of the day. And there's going to be some special stuff on there. There's going to be like vlogs at least every other day, probably, maybe, hopefully daily. And like there'll be certain things which will start off at like, say, every 4 weeks, like a show, like maybe similar to this type of show, like a question and answers or something, which will be every 4 weeks. And then if we get to 50, say, patrons, it'll go to every 2 weeks, and we'll set little targets to keep us going. All that good stuff. We've got to set the targets. But look, I'm hoping that will just help us keep going, basically, and keep growing is the main thing. Like I'm going from January, pretty much, I would say 90% of my recorded shows will be in the studio now. I've already got like a couple of current footballers, a couple of ex-footballers, someone who was in the news for Cardiff City fans this week coming in to the studio, which was kind of already in place, but luckily due to that it's coming. So let's have a look. Reese says it's crazy to see how far the pod has come in such a short space of time. Gone is the long hair. Now we've got great setups, different pods, the lot. Look, there we go, mate. Is what it is. Yeah, there's lots of things happening in the new year. I saw Jay Bothroyd's back in the UK as well, didn't he? I noticed that on Instagram the other day. Might have to drop him a wee message, see what he's up to. But that'd be nice. I don't know whether he's got any plans to come to Cardiff, but if he does, it'll be good. That's nothing. So Garen said, I just racking my brains when I pressed the dislike button last year, and it dawned on me a few months back that I nodded off and pressed it, and then it is easily done, mate. But I woke up to you mentioning my name. Well, I don't know whether to be offended by that, my friend, that you fell asleep while we were doing the show, but yeah, it is what I see. Let's have a look. What else we got? The OnlyFans tier. That's it, mate. That's it. Let's have a look. Brad says, like you said, it's got to fund itself, and to expand even bigger for some massive UFC stars to appear with you. Probably the massive dream is a big motivation. Interesting, mate. Brad, I've got there's some stuff in the pipeline with the fight show that I actually cannot talk with. And like, for people who've watched this show, particularly the one when I'm on my own, I've got no one to rein me in. So I quite often end up talking about stuff which I'm not supposed to talk about yet. But there's some stuff in the pipeline for the fight show, which is, it's going to be game changing, I would say. Like some collaborations, things like this with some different companies, some violent companies. And at the end of the day, it's not just about money, but it's about it's about growing and doing what we can do. And we're look, the fight show, we've been very, very, very lucky. Like, and I don't want to say it's luck. It's not just luck. It's down to the hard work, and I think the quality of the content as well. But like, we've had, some of the biggest names in British MMA. We've been lucky enough to have a couple of American ones like Mighty Mouse, Gary Toonan, Thon Lee. Like, not many UK podcasts, particularly independent ones, who aren't linked with like big organizations, can say they had Demetrius Johnson on their show. Like that, I take a lot of pride in that. Graham Boylan as well, like Cage Warriors president, doesn't do any media really. Like, even when I was talking to Reece McKee last night before the show and just saying, how are you? We're just having a bit of a catch up and that. He was like really surprised that Graham Boylan had come on the show, because he doesn't do anything. And from the football side of things, we've had like Mehmet Dalman's been on the channel twice. He's coming on again. Probably won't be till the end of the season, unfortunately, but he'll be on again at some point. He's not going around doing a lot of podcasts. He's Talk Sport, I think, is about the next to it. So I just saw a few of you saying that what was that then? Thought I just saw it. So Boxing Day's cancelled, but then when I just looked on BBC before the show, they said they were all going to be on. So what's changed? So look, the Premier League and EFL clubs have chosen to fulfill their festive fixtures despite the ongoing COVID-19 disruption. This decision comes despite Premier League players returning with a record 90 positive tests this week. Blah. So is Boxing Day on or off? It seems like on BBC, it seems to be saying that they're on, but let's have a look. Tom Aspinall, Brad, yeah, he's there's a couple of UK guys I'm trying to do. He's one of them. Also, I would like to get Dominic Wood in on. I'd like to get who else? I want to get Paddy back on. The problem I think we're going to have getting Paddy back on now is he's got that deal with Barstool Sports, so he's he's off doing his thing. But like, we've had him on a couple of times. I'm very grateful for that. He's a real cool dude, like sound as hell. But hopefully we can get him on again. I would like to get some more American guys on, I think. So Cardiff's off due to the number of players with COVID. Yeah, it is frustrating. Looks like the games are on generally, but the Cardiff game is off, which is, it's unfortunate. It's kind of the world we just live in. So yeah, Harry Kane's tackle was shocking, mate. My peeps, that was it was a bad one, and this is my thing with VAR. Because of VAR, it's a waste of time. Like, to me, VAR, I think it was Carragher who said yesterday, VAR's working, all right, but it's the people who are using it, the referees and whatnot who are using it, they're the ones who are messing it up because they're missing. Like, that's how can you miss that? How is it not a red card? It's ludicrous. And there's been a few of late where you're just looking at it and you're thinking, why hasn't VAR picked that up? That's a real problem. Smog on the Tyne says, does Andy ever come on? So since Andy got the Middlesbrough job, my friend, the Middlesbrough ladies job, he's struggling for time at the moment. So at the moment, from a footballing point of view, we have the Rodri Giggs football show on Thursday. And there's hopefully, I will say, I would look out for a show over the next week to 10 days that isn't advertised, that I haven't spoke about. It might just pop up like the day before. I would say, in response to that question, does Andy Campbell ever come on again anymore? Just keep an eye on the social media and stuff, because you never know. It's Christmas. Santa might bring you a miracle. But generally, Andy, the A.C.E footy show's on hiatus, shall we say. But for anyone who hasn't checked out the Rodri Giggs show, I'd encourage you to do so. It is. It's not. Maybe I'm biased, and the people in the chat on Facebook and YouTube will tell you, I would imagine, that it's very, very entertaining. It's very good. We talk about all things football, but the other thing as well is, Rodri has got this really dry wit about him, and he's quite, like, he doesn't shy away from any questions. And like, normally the last 10 minutes of the show, we just open it up for questions on anything, and I mean anything. And like, people have asked him about, obviously, his brother. He never shies away from talking about his brother from a football point of view, but people have asked him about his brother. They've asked him about different things. He's always brutally honest, and I respect that. And like, people seem to be enjoying it. It's doing decent numbers, considering it's only about, I think, 13 or 14 episodes in. So yeah, we're enjoying it, mate. It's a good one. But hopefully Andy will be back soon. But obviously, I'm just kind of caught between it, because in one way, I want Andy back. I love doing a podcast with him. He's one of my best friends. I love it. But on the other hand, realistically, if he comes back, it's because he's not at Middlesbrough anymore. So, I want him to be a success, because I think he's got the potential with his football knowledge and his tactical analysis and the way he looks at the game. I think he could be a really good manager. It's just about opportunities. This is his opportunity to show what he can do. So I'm hoping that he goes and does it. And if that means that we never get to do a regular podcast again, then that's the price we'll have to pay. But he will pop up from time to time. So yeah, that's the best I can offer you, I'm afraid. But I would keep an eye on social media for over the next week to 10 days, is what I would say, because we got some stuff coming. But let's have a look what we got. Brad says, the problem is sometimes with is I do like it because of the blatant offsides and the handballs, etc., being identified. But the thing that annoys me is the inconsistencies of the refs. A lot of them have never played the game properly whatsoever, done a ref course and been given a license. Some of the decisions, the softness of challenges, they're ridiculous. It is it's frustrating, isn't it? Because you'll have you have just like these weird things where you'll have a very soft red card, and then you'll have another one where, like Harry Kane's, where it's just unbelievable. Like, it looks just like you can't understand for the life of you how it's not a red card. Cade says, "Can we get Neil on to pretend to be Andy as close?" Yeah, I'd think about that actually, mate. When we first kind of said, right, we're going to give like Andy sort of 10 weeks or whatever, 12 weeks, just to kind of sort himself out, just give him a period to settle into the job and see how he was for time and all that sort of stuff. I did think about, getting Neil on board and stuff, but I don't know. I got to say, like, even though the Rodri gigs wasn't a direct replacement, because it was something that I was planning on doing at some point anyway. I feel like that is also a very, very good show. So would I rather have both? Absolutely. Would I rather have Super Kev back as well? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, like I said, people got lives, people got responsibilities, people got jobs and things like that. It's one of those things, and you've got to roll with the punches, and sometimes things have to change, so you've got to switch it up. And indeed, Craig there says, get Andy's dad on talking about the perspective of parents' perspective of Neil and Andy. And that, that was a series which I've been thinking about, like a short video series of like 10 or 15 minutes, maybe 20 or something, of getting like sports people or famous people's parents on to talk about like them and their personalities growing up and stuff, like Danny's parents and Andy's parents and things like that. And I thought it'd be quite interesting, but I don't know how people would feel about it, like in terms of wanting to watch it. I don't know how whether the people would want to do it and stuff like that. So it's a tricky one, but who knows at the end of the day. For those of you so someone just asked about the Patreon, it'll be patreon.com/A.C.E Podcast Nation. For that, it's sort of like a members only thing. I don't think it's set up at the moment, but I'm sure someone can look and find out. I think I've set up my side, but I haven't publicized it, I think. So I'm sure someone will tell me if it's there or not. But it'll be there shortly. And look, I appreciate you all, appreciate anyone who would like to sign up. So it's going to be an interesting one. So my story this week, what day are we? So we're Monday today. This Wednesday, I'll tell you what, because I'm going to edit it after I do this show. I will give you, the people, the choice. This Wednesday, would you like the My Story episode to be with Andrew Thompson, who is a wrestling journalist and a journalist who I do the wrestling shows with? He's a very nice guy, lovable guy, one of my good friends. Such a cool guy. Would you like his My Story this week, or would you like celebrity A-lister boxing trainer, ex-professional boxer, fought for championships, last fight against Tommy Hearns, very interesting man and life, Michael Olajade, this week on Wednesday? Whichever one we'll do this Wednesday, and then next Wednesday will be the other. But I'll let you, the people, choose. I knew Rob Boyle was going to say Andrew Thompson all day because he loves him. He loves the wrestling show. So yeah, Cardiff City Centre was madness, says a few people. I'm not surprised. It's a bit late to be doing Christmas shopping, I think, isn't it? Come on now. Leslie, Barry, so what the with the Patreon and the members only thing, the one show which is guaranteed to be every week exclusive on there will be the Boot and the Limp coming back, which is myself and stand-up comedian Barry Phillips, which I know was a really popular show we did on a Friday. It was just a bit too sweary, and some people got a bit twitchy and stuff. But yeah, It is what it is, my friends. But that is coming back 100%. I've already spoken to Barry. That's in place. That will be coming back. Once the Patreon's started and people start. That's the one. Skinning the Lizard guy. Once once it's all set up and that'll be straight up. Once we've got a few patrons, that'll be straight in, starting every week. The Boot and the Limp will return. Because when I cancelled that show, that is they're not available, Donna. I took them down because one or two people not complained. There was one guy who was causing a problem on those shows, and he's the only guy to this day who I've ever blocked or banned from the page. Still blocked and banned. I had a conversation with him. I asked him to stop. He wouldn't. Anyway. But I ended up taking them down. I think you can still down the audio versions of them. And look, they were so funny. I don't know if any of you guys came on just after that. I know Leslie was here, but they were really funny. Barry's a very funny guy. Not for everyone. Look, there was a lot of swearing, a lot of laughing, things like the Bell End of the Week award, and it was Boris would have it or whatever. It was just a good old time. It's just one of those. Reese says the Friday comedy shows were good. Actually, used to really enjoy them. Yep, they were really popular. When I cancelled it, I had loads of messages for a couple of weeks after from people who I didn't know and stuff, just saying, "Oh, really enjoyed those shows. Come on, can you bring it back and stuff?" So I'm hoping that those people will jump in. Because Big Baz is a legend. He's super funny. I really like him. And we just got on from the outset. We're just really, really quick, and we just had a whale of a time. So I'm looking forward to that. Brad says, out of curiosity, Si, you ever trained any martial arts? No, I haven't. I mean, by the time I kind of had a hardcore interest in it, I'd already had my accident. So unfortunately, my physical health means I can't, which is a shame because I definitely would be bang into it. Donna Perry, top fan +2. Oh, who's a top fan +2? Well. Let's have a look. Yeah, they were. It was a good time. So I'm looking forward to starting those shows up. Also, there's talk of a paranormal show with Reese, who did the conspiracy theory shows and the film and TV series. There's all sorts of those different shows which you've got in our back pockets, which will be available. There's shows which haven't been released, which will be put out on there and stuff. Everything which goes onto that Patreon will never get released. There might be some clips released and things like that, but ultimately, that's going to be the one. That's going to be the way that we keep the channel going and growing, as it were. So I was trying to find the tiers. So let's have a look. Yeah, so there's all sorts of weird and wonderful tiers. I've got to redo it because at the moment I've got 6 tiers, but that's because I was playing with the different options, I think. Executive producers tier. Well, don't think I'm going to be doing that one. Here he is, Barry Phillips. There he is. He's there and he's ready. We'll be back, mate. January is coming. The people know it now. It's coming. The news is out. Let's go. So yes, that's really getting the Cardiff's games off. Is there any other games being called off as well then, is there? Let's have a look. Let's have a look what's going on in the football. It was rubbish this weekend. No football. It was just terrible. The Boot and the Limp is coming soon. Cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. People loved it. And I just got it that we had to put it on hold. But when the Patreon launches, it's going to be back. So, someone tell me, what day is Boxing Day? Is Boxing Day the Sunday? Someone tell me, is Boxing Day a Sunday? So Spurs are out of the Europa League. But hang on a minute. I thought the game was postponed because of COVID cases. So did UEFA refuse to let them reschedule it and they just pulled out of it, did they? That's what seems to be said. And it was given to Rennes 3-0. They topped the group. Vitesse Arnhem runners up, Spurs third. This is my problem with all these games getting postponed and like 1 minute they're postponing games, then the next minute they're forcing Brighton to play with one of the smallest squads in the league. I think it's ludicrous. And then you've got Spurs, 13 positive cases, can't field a team. They're told they cannot reschedule the game. Like, there needs to be some sort of protocol in place where if there's an X amount of players from your first team have got it, then you need to it needs to be like a rule, a general rule, I think, doesn't it? Otherwise, you've got to you can't have one rule for one and one rule for the others. Like, you can't say to United, yes, it's all right, you can have your game called off, but Brighton have got to play. Brighton have got a smaller squad, less quality in their squad. That's not an even playing field. That's not a fair competition. Don't get me started on VAR in the FA Cup in some grounds and not others. Like, this is not the way. That's not the way you run a competition. Absolutely ludicrous. So I feel for Spurs there. Look, in the long run, for Conte, it's probably a good thing that they're out of the Europa League. He can focus on trying to get Spurs back. Chelsea wanted to cancel their game recently, Craig says, but the team that they played was still worth about £1 billion. Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? Right. So like Chelsea wanted to cancel their game or reschedule it, but they were still able to field a team worth that much. Brighton are not in that position. And I agree with you, Brad. The majority of first team squads have got 25 players. But like Brighton, for instance, their 25 will be about, say, 18 or 20. And then it'll be made up of like youth team players. Whereas a United, a Chelsea, a Man City, Liverpool, all these, they've got 25 good world, like first team players. And I just think it's got to be an even playing field. So there has to be like a number where you say, I don't know, if X amount of players are out with COVID, then the game gets rescheduled. Or if you've got no goalkeepers, I think is a rule anyway. Like, there's some sort of ruling with regards to goalkeepers and stuff like that. It's it's unfortunate, and I think I have got a real issue with it that there's not an even playing field. I don't like it in the FA Cup when you don't have VAR as some of the others, like the lower league stadiums and things like that, because I think that's disgusting. You either have VAR in the competition or you don't. You can't have it at some places and not others. That's not an even playing field. That's not a fair competition. Reese says, FIFA said today, having the World Cup every 2 years will make an extra 3.3 billion. You can see the money is still only the fact that, FIFA don't give two hoots about money. That's all they care about, all they have ever cared about. No one wants the World Cup every 2 years, do they? Because we have an international tournament every 2 years. And because of that, because there's Euros, then World Cup, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's already too many international breaks. People hate them. And now if you're going to do World Cup every 2 years, it's going to make it even worse. The international breaks drive people nuts. I think they've got to do something about that in itself and try and make it, because it's killing people's enjoyment. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens over this Christmas period, because you could have, on one hand, you could have teams play like 2 or 3 games, and then you could have another team only play 1 game or no games. So like that's a problem, isn't it? Because like someone could create quite a big gap at the bottom of the league, at the top of the league. Like if you're bottom of the league, I don't know, let's put you, say Derby, who are already have had points deducted, etc. Say they get COVID, load of COVID cases, they don't play for 3 games over Christmas, but the 3 teams above them play and they get 6 or 7 points. Like that's a big ask to then, Derby have done well to get all those points back already, but then to have another 7-point gap through no fault of their own is a big ask. But that can't be helped. So it's going to be interesting. VAR, Brad, yeah, and the VAR in the Championship, like all the money that's available in the Championship for getting up and the parachute payments and things, the VAR's not in it. I think it's shocking because me and Andy talked about, and Andy Campbell, he said like Championship is basically a Premier League 2. Like you got all the players who play in the big teams, all the best players in the league, they're all internationals, full internationals. Like to not have VAR in that league is strange and stupid. But I also, on one hand, kind of like it that it's not in there as well. So, don't know. Too busy lining their own pockets, our FIFA. World Cup every 4 years makes it special. And then you've got the Euros in every 2, like in between as well. I think it's yeah. Cade does an interesting comment, that is, mate. He says, I lost respect for David Beckham taking that money, and people died building them stadiums. Yeah, and look, we've talked about this a little bit before, but I agree with you, Cade. And the problem is, look, it's like this, isn't it? Right? We're all disgusted by it. People have died making those stadiums and the way they're preparing for the World Cup, and we don't agree with some of the things, the rules and the laws and the place. So you've got to make a decision for yourself. Everyone has, me included. If you feel that strongly about it, do you boycott? Do you refuse to watch it? If I feel that strongly about it, do I refuse to talk about it? And like realistically, what we've based and made this podcast about is talking about football, talking about fighting, talking about whatever. So can we afford to not talk about the World Cup? But on the other hand, what we've also been very clear about is that we're open and inclusive to everyone. We want to create a good community of people who get on and have a laugh and support each other and stuff like that. Like, so yeah, it's a tricky one, man, because I hate it. I hate the way it's being done. I think it's only in that country because of money, because everybody thought that particular World Cup was coming to England or like a UK one. And then when they read Qatar out, it was like, what? And it's just all about money. And then because they haven't got the stadiums and the facilities, they've had to build them in a very short space of time, multiple stadiums. Like there's like hundreds of people like living in these like rooms and they're all stuffed in. They've had their passports taken off them and they're like, it's absolutely disgusting. And that's not even talking about the things which gay football fans would have to go through if they want to go to that World Cup. And shout out to Denmark for the stance that their playing squad and management, the team have taken. It's I don't like it. I got to be honest, and I have got a real problem with it. And maybe, like I said, maybe I have got a decision to make, Cade, where I have to decide, right, am I going to talk about this? Am I going to watch it? Am I going to do these things? And if I am, then maybe I've got to shut up about it. And maybe I can't, because it's a bit hypocritical to keep moaning about it, but then watch it and, base my content off it, base my shows off it, talk about it. And then on the other hand, be going, disgusting, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's a bit hypocritical, maybe. I don't know. Some people would say. Brad says, but then Qatar brought the World Cup, in my opinion. Human rights conditions in that country are diabolical. Fans can't go over there and even respectfully enjoy themselves. You can't even take your top off on the beach. Yeah, it's problematic, mate. Honestly, I think there's going to be major problems at that World Cup because I think like it's one thing if you go there and you kind of like you go there on a holiday or whatever, and you go there with your missus or something, right? And you go to Qatar and you have a holiday and you enjoy all the luxury, blah, blah, blah. But like, if you're going to have groups of football fans in there, and I think you are allowed to drink, but not in the streets and things like that, people are still going to be pissed up. And I think that's where there could be like major issues, because their police and their whatever they are, like in Spain, you've got the Guardia Civil, like they don't take no messing from tourists. Can you imagine what they're going to be like in Qatar, like pissed up football fans? You think they get treated badly in the UK? I can just see it kicking off big time all the time, just from fans all over Europe and all over the world, having a few beers in the bars, and then there being all sorts of problems because people think it's funny to do something to wind people up, them taking offence. And yeah, I'm not looking forward to it at all, I've got to be honest. Cheers for joining us, Matt. I appreciate it, mate. Have good fun in work. Reese says again, imagine picking a country where women cannot be out without a man, where a gay person can be killed, where alcohol is a big sponsor of the World Cup, is banned. The laws are bonkers, medieval, absolute disgrace. Yeah, it's there's issues there, isn't there? There's problems there, and look, it's kind of, it's a difficult one. It really is. Craig said, did anyone watch the darts last night? Amazing night, quality games for the second round. I did not, so I cannot comment. And Brad says, the sentences they hand out in Qatar are absolutely unbelievable as well. And that's the thing, you get like pissed up football fans. Like, so say at the France World Cup or whatever, you might have some pissed up football fans who end up fighting with police or clashing with police for whatever reason. They'll get chucked in a cell, kept in maybe overnight, and then they're released with a clip around the head sort of thing, and they might get fined. You're talking jail sentences or worse out there. Like, and I just think there's going to be real issues. But FIFA have stood by for years and done all, like, just allowed all sorts of different places around the world. It's a problem. It's a real problem. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what we can do. It's makes me sad. I gotta be honest. You should be excited for the World Cup, but I just not. Brad says, I really don't think they won't issue British fans many tickets. I think it might depend. If they don't sell tickets, like if they don't sell many tickets because people are making a bit of a stand, like I don't see many Danish fans going there judging by the stance their team and their country has taken against it. So I think if they've got a few countries like that where people are wary of going, they might kind of open them up a bit more, and then you could have like an influx of British fans. And then, you know, like, here's a question. I know some of you guys follow Wales away. If Wales, you know, you're going to go to Qatar, would you go to the Qatar World Cup? Like Leslie, would you go to Qatar World Cup and watch England? I'm genuinely interested if people would go. And if they would they be wary of going? Would they be really concerned with going? Would they not drink while they're there just in case of anything kind of kicking off? Rob Boyle, nail on the head, mate. Nothing will change unless countries pull out because of it. And the countries who could make a difference, England's, your Italy's, your Brazil's, they won't pull out because of the amount of money they make. They get paid for being at the World Cup. So it's one of those things. Be interesting to see how COVID is next year, if fans are even allowed to travel and mix. Well, that's a whole nother story, isn't it? But like the other side of that is, I believe, and I'm doing this from memory, but like, isn't Qatar and Dubai and all that, they've been pretty good with COVID? Like, they haven't, I think they haven't been too kind of overrun by it, I believe, but I don't know, I might be wrong with that, so someone surely will correct me. Craig or Leslie says, I definitely wouldn't go. I would probably end up in jail. Mate, pretty sure if you went to Cornwall, you might end up in jail. It seems to be a habit of yours. But yeah, I wouldn't go, mate. 100% I wouldn't go. Will Melius says, I spent a month in France, had follow your team tickets for 2021, but I have absolutely no intention of going to Qatar. Reece says, to be honest, those countries kill journalists, so even if there was a high case of COVID, we'd never know the truth. Yeah, 100% makes propaganda all the way. Reece, were you going to go? Qatar, would you go? Like, yeah, I don't even like, even if you take out the kind of the not wanting to because of this, that, and the other, like, would you risk it? Like, I talked about this before. One of my favorite podcasts to watch and listen to is I Have a Word podcast. Shout out to them, amazing podcast. They're so good. Two comedians, one's a Scouser, one's from Chester. So funny, and they've done some gigs over in Dubai and places like this over the years, and they said like they've been out there because you get paid so well, you get luxury, you get first class travel, all that sort of stuff, but you're always on edge. You're always like worried you're going to look at the wrong person the wrong way and end up in like a jail cell. It's not nice. It's not comfortable, and they won't do it anymore. They don't go to those gigs. And I think anywhere like that is not an environment you want to go, because it's just like, why would you want to go somewhere and be on edge all the time? It's not liking that at all. It's the other thing as well, like those sort of places where be on edge because you can't trust it. You don't want to go there after and have a few beers in a bar and then go out when you're like relaxed and can't even walk down the street with a can and stuff like that. It's problematic. There's so many problems. Right, you have got 8 minutes. Ask me anything you like. Anything you like. Ask me anything you like. And we'll go for there. Best thing they could possibly do is set up designated fan zones, like in holiday complexes where you can't wander off. Yeah, and even that I think is problematic. It's there was a guy. Reece says there was a guy arrested either last year, and he brushed past someone and they accused him of touching another man's backside. Got arrested. Yeah, and look, there's also, we haven't talked about every country, every football nation, every football club, everyone's got their fair share of like idiots who want to, like, I shouldn't say idiots because it was me once upon a time, a long time ago, like, who want to have a bit of a scrap. Those people will want to try their luck, like the Russians, mate. Those Russian ultras, they won't care. They want to have a go. They want to see. They want the story of testing themselves against the Qatari police or the Qatari army, mate. And it could just go really, really wrong. What we got? Craig says, you may find some fans will find it safer without PSSD idiots rioting. They've got them lined up. Yeah, look. Madness, mate. Madness. If you've got any questions, get them in. You're running out of time. Yeah. So Cullen, Reece says, didn't Cullen mention on his My Story about a group of men from Wales who were out in one of them countries and forced to confess and torture? Yeah, he did. But also he mentioned there was a guy in Cardiff who was tortured and I forget the story now. He was like tortured and forced to confess, or in Northern Ireland maybe, or Wales. I don't know what it was. I haven't. I got to go back and watch the rest of it and watch the full episode. Yeah, and we haven't even talked about like the interruptions of the season and stuff like that. I got to check the days. None of you told me what day Boxing Day was on. There was a reason I asked you. So on Christmas Day, there's a special short episode, about 20-30 minutes of me and Rodri in a studio talking about the Qatar World Cup and all the different kind of things towards it, like the Sunday, right? So Christmas Day is Saturday. Yeah, so on Christmas Day, there's a special Roger Giggs on Football World Cup special. It's about 25 minutes long. Me and Rodri in the studio talking about all that different stuff. Christmas Day, Boxing Day, then there's a Danny Batten best of little episode, just some of the best moments of the year with all the different guests from the combat sports world that we've had, and it's going to be a fun little stuff. But Thursday evening, 7:30, last live show before Christmas. Let's go. Kay Child says, next Cardiff manager. Sorry, you have to pick one. Ron Atkinson, Paul Jewell, or Howard Wilkinson. Jesus Christ, Cade, what are you trying to do to me, mate? Oh, God. I just don't know. Oof. Ron Atkinson, just for the giggles. Hopefully a few great questions from Reese in the Best Bits video. Well, maybe, mate. Geraint says, what time on Christmas Day? I reckon, I don't know, Geraint, what time do you think? Because I'm going to schedule it. Like, it's not live. It's going to be out when it's out. Like, so you pick a time, Geraint. I'll let you pick as a special Christmas treat to you. You tell me what time you want it to come out, and I'll put it out at that time for you, as long as it's not like 4 o'clock in the morning. Rob Boyle says, what's your favourite Lynx gift set? Black. I like Lynx Black. Used to be all about the Lynx Africa, but as I've got a bit older, I like the Lynx Black now. It's my favourite. Real good. But I do like the, I think I did have one, but I don't know where it's gone. There's like a blue like shower gel. It's gone. Like ice chill or something. Queen's Speech can get to fuck. I could not give less of a shit about any one person in the world. How about a 3 p.m. kickoff? Geraint Cole, your wish is my command, mate. 3 o'clock Christmas Day. Rodri Giggs on Football World Cup Qatar special. Axe body spray in America. No idea why it's got a different name. Because they like their weapons, mate. I reckon. I've met a few weapons, mind, in my time from the United States of America. So did you decide, you people, which My Story you want on this Wednesday? Andrew Thompson of the Keeping It Real podcast, or Michael Olajede, former professional boxer and A-lister training boxing celebrity? Like, which one do you want this Wednesday? You got to tell me. You got 2.5 minutes to tell me which one you want. Otherwise, I will decide. Rob Boyle, Andrew Thompson. Rob, if you're the only one that answers, mate, then you get it. You get it, because you're the only one who took the time to vote. So, shout out to Rye as well. He sent me a message earlier asking where Joe Riley's My Story Extra was. Joe Riley was going to come on tonight for the My Stories Extra. However, he's doing commentary on Everton under 21s tonight, so he could not. Under 23s, isn't it? Will Mellish says Snickers Marathon, Vauxhall Opal, always good, different abroad. Leslie Coates backing up Rob Boyle, says Andrew Thompson. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you for voting, my friend. I appreciate that massively. Look, I want to say this. This is the 15th episode of Me, Myself, and Si. And I do still find it a little bit difficult because it's just me talking to a camera on my own. It's not been tricky. Like when Andy went, I was like, I don't want to not do anything on a Monday, but I don't know if I'm going to what to do. And I was a bit confused. And I did that one show I did where Andy had a problem with his internet. And I had done one show on my own on Friday. And a few of you seem to enjoy it. But ultimately, this goes for the channel overall, but very specifically to this series, I cannot do it without you guys getting involved, interacting. And I do really enjoy it. And I think it's kind of one of those things where I'm not sure, like after Christmas, like the schedule is going to change. I'm going to tell you that now. The schedule is going to change. The only things I can guarantee you is the Roger Gigs and Football will be every Thursday. The Danny Battenfied show will be every Sunday. And there will be one other show sort of Tuesday, Wednesday or Monday. Don't know when. Don't know if it'll be live, what it'll be. But there will be another show. And then, so there'll be 3 shows on the YouTube channel each week. Then there will be the Boot and the Limp on the Patreon, plus other stuff. Gaz asked on YouTube, what did he say? Mental health in sport and any other series coming back next year. Mental health in sport with Jacob will be back. Obviously, series 2, we focus predominantly on footballers. So I don't know about that, like if it'll be football again or if we'll go just general sport. One thing we talked about was doing mental health in music and talking to some bands and musicians and pop stars and things like that. So yeah, that'll be good. And yeah, it's going to be interesting stuff. But look, I've got like about 1 million ideas for different shows and with different people and different subjects. And, you know, some of those as well, like, so that's the other thing you get with the Patreon. So say like My Story series is running like it is at the moment. So if the Patreon was open now, that would be on Patreon today or tomorrow. Like it'll be a couple of days early for you to watch. And that'll be the same for anything which is pre-recorded. It'll always go up on the members only, but like a couple of days before for people to get it early. So like you say, you get all those different rewards. Sorry. Let's have a look. Reese says, honestly, me, myself, and Sai has been brilliant. Gotten better over time. Really great addition to the series. I appreciate that, mate. Rob Boyle says, I'm going to record your voice as my alarm. Wake up, Rob, you lazy bastard. There you go. Record that. Record that. Leslie says, good show. Interesting. Thank you, mate. Craig Sullivan says, perhaps you could also add some clips about shows and talk about them on here. I don't know what you mean by that, mate. Clarify, please. You've got about a minute to do so. Will says, these have been great shows, kind of like a dysfunctional family get-together. Yeah, I like it. Rob Will says, bring back the phone in. Oh, mate. Yeah, maybe, mate, I think that's a possibility, actually. It's just real ball ache with that. But once I get this one piece of equipment, which I would get, hoping to get in January, like it becomes so much easier, and then I probably will do that. Like I'll probably do it regularly then. But I need, without that thing, it's really like a pain in the ass, to be honest. Boris, yeah, fuck Boris, fuck the government, fuck Boris. That's what I says. Have a great Christmas, all your viewers. Cheers, Kate. I hope your dad's doing better, mate. Hope he's home for Christmas and all that good stuff, my friend. Right, so Craig says, you may have an upcoming show. Put out a clip on this show, and then we can talk about it. Helps promote new shows. Yes, indeed, mate. Rob Boyle says, I reckon for the high-end Patreon, you can be a co-host for a week. Yeah, so basically, with the highest Patreon tier, you can pick one show. So say if you stay here, technically, if you stayed on that tier, you could just continually you could create your own series with me talking about whatever, but it's up to you, I suppose. It's not, like I said, it's not a tier which I was expecting people to use. So the Patreon launches on the 2nd of January, but I will open it up either later this week or next week so people can jump on it if they want to, ready. And then the show with Barry will start as soon as there's a couple of members on there. I'll kick it up and we'll start straight away the first week of January, mate, basically. So soon you've got to join the Patreon. and away we go. Basically, right? I'll give you. Right, send in as many ridiculous questions as you can in the next 60 seconds, and I will answer them all as fast as I can, back to back, without thinking, and then we'll go. My stories with Rob Boyle, and we'll just hear stories of Rob getting pissed when he was younger, all the different things that he did wrong. That's a good idea. Did my boy enjoy his birthday? Yes, he did, mate. It's just makes me feel old, mate. 17, like that made me feel way older than turning 40 did. Like turning 40 didn't bother me. I'm more concerned with turning 47 than I am turning 40. How often do you skin the lizard? Mate, I'm married, so fucking all the time. Who's the boot and who's the limp? Well, Barry, his nickname is the boot, and I walk with a big limp. So what am I allergic to? Rob Boyle says, bullshit, mate. Next question. Come on, keep them coming. Gotta be quick. Gotta be type. Quick. Gotta type quick, because we're running out of time. Running out of time. Chinese or Indian? Chinese. Who's a twat? Who's a twat? Lee Sharp. No, I don't know. I only said that because Rodri always says he like got a real issue with him. Who's a twat? Who don't I like? Alan Tate. Who tells the gang says who tells Porky's the most, Boris or Mehmet? Oh, Boris, mate. Come on. Rob Reese says, how you feeling now, mate? You was feeling really sore. I'm all right. I'm always in pain, mate. It's very difficult to clarify. It's very difficult to put into words how much pain I'm in. All I could tell you is that if I wasn't in this much pain, I wouldn't take ridiculous painkillers that I take. The Bill or London's burning? The Bill. Did I see Donna's twins with Junior Hoylett? No, I did not. Which footballer would you most like to punch? Oh, what's his face? Lee Trundle. Actually, no, I quite like Lee Trundle now he's retired. We'll go with the other one. What's his name? Not Alan Tate, the other one. Oh, what's his name? I can't even remember his name. Guy Monk. Right, guys, it's been a pleasure as always. I could go on forever. Oh, another question, quick. Any guests you've lined up that really let you down? I have been let down a couple of. Yeah, Tim Sherwood can get a slap. There's been a couple of guests recently who said they would do it, and then when it came to setting up a date and stuff, kind of just went dark, which is really frustrating. But it's part of the game. You know, people are busy. People have got lives. Especially the sorts of people I'm trying to get on. Like, you know, some of them are pretty famous. Some of them have got busy lives. They don't get anything out of it. So it's like, you know, they're doing it off their own back. So I'm never too critical of them. I'd rather someone just say, oh, look, I changed my mind, or I can't fit in. Because I'll always try and fit people, fit around people and stuff like that. Yeah, right, guys, pleasure as always. Join me on Thursday with Rodri, 7:30. Don't be late. Let's go.